Hello, everyone. It's Friday, September the 3rd. Regretfully, again, I've got to report to you 18 additional deaths that we've had. We're up to 3,124 deaths in West Virginia now. And, you know, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it, but there is totally nothing in your life as important right now as getting vaccinated. Nothing. Nothing. And without any question, you need to run to the fire and get yourself vaccinated if you're not vaccinated. I mean, this situation is really serious. We're hanging on, but it is really tough. You know, I don't think he would mind me telling you this, but the captain of my detail, you know, Captain Drew Pendleton, just tested positive. You know, we were together all day yesterday, you know, from the standpoint of giving things away on the Do It for Baby Dog 2, round 2. That makes a total of 3 or 4 people that are, you know, that are fully vaccinated. Drew's been vaccinated with a booster shot. And so that's 3 or 4 on my detail out of 12, I believe, that have tested positive. This is serious stuff. And it absolutely goes all across all of us all the time. It's everywhere. It's around us all. You have got your only protection is the vaccinations. And they're not fail-proof. They're not fail-proof, but they're one whale of a lot better than sitting around unvaccinated and taking your chances being unvaccinated. They're absolutely harmless from everything we know. Absolutely, without any doubt, they're safe. You need to get yourself vaccinated right this very minute if you're not. The 3,007th death in West Virginia is a 45-year-old female from Fayette County. The 3,107th death is a 45-year-old female from Fayette County. The 3,108th death is an 81-year-old male from Cabell County. The 3,109th death is an 82-year-old male from Putnam County. The 3,110th death is a 68-year-old male from Cabell County. The 3,111th death is a 96-year-old female from Braxton County. The 3,112th death is a 60-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 3,113th death is a 51-year-old male from Jefferson County. The 3,114th death is a 69-year-old male from Randolph County. The 3,115th death is a 59-year-old female from Preston County. The 3,116th death is a 72-year-old female from Putnam County. The 3,117th death is a 62-year-old male from Wood County. The 3,118th death is a 36-year-old female from Marshall County. The 3,119th death is a 95-year-old female from Harrison County. The 3,120th death is a 101-year-old female from Braxton County. The 3,121st death is an 81-year-old male from Harrison County. The 3,122nd death is a 93-year-old male from Lincoln County. The 3,123rd death, a 93-year-old female from Lincoln County. The 3,124th death is an 85-year-old female from Logan County. You always have to ask, how many of these lives could we have saved if they were all vaccinated? You know, the spectrum is unbelievable. We've lost a 36-year-old female that had so much life in front of them, it was unbelievable. While at the same time, we've lost a 101-year-old female that gave us so much wisdom and could have given us more. Absolutely, the spectrum is really wide. You have to get yourself vaccinated. That's all there is to it. Just one second. In the last, since the last update when I was with you on Wednesday, we have had 2,076 new cases in West Virginia. Our positivity daily rate is at 11%. Our cumulative rate is at 5.28. We now have active cases in West Virginia of 19,434. We have 714 people hospitalized, 206 people in the ICU units. We have an all-time record high for patients that are on a ventilator. 111 of them are. You can rest assured, if you're not vaccinated, you're taking one hell of a chance. That's all there is to it. All of our counties are either orange or red except 2 that are gold. The school outbreaks, we've got 59 in 26 counties. 19 of those schools, 19 schools are closed because of COVID. 30 counties have mask, mandates now. I go on and on and on to tell you things like if you're 65 years of age, you have any symptom at all, any symptom, the last couple of days, I felt just a little bit different and everything. Thought I was just fine and everything. Just got tested again. So did Kathy. If you absolutely have any symptom whatsoever, take advantage of the free testing and get yourself tested. From the standpoint of the antibodies, they could very well save your life if you happen to test positive and we can catch it early enough. Over and over and over, the overwhelming majority of the folks that are having trouble are unvaccinated. We know all that. And today, I do have Kathy, our First Lady, with us, and I've got a wonderful fella, that is with us, that is joining us today, Bobby Blakely. He is the Regional Vice President of Truist Bank. I guess what they're doing is they're either merging or buying out BB&T and SunTrust. Is that correct? And we just welcome them in every way. They're a huge bank now, and we welcome them as a partner to West Virginia. And the work that's been done through communities and schools, I think Bobby's going to be a contributor and a supporter to that today, and Kathy's here, and to make a special announcement about communities and schools and all the great work that they've done. It's amazing when I just look right down. I think about. I've got to just tell you this real quick. When we were elected the very first time, basically Kathy came to me and she said, "Jim, I need to have a cause, a program that we're behind." And she said, "What do you think about communities and schools?" Well, we didn't have any idea what communities and schools were all about, really and truly. In fact, they were in one county, I think, in the state, and that was in Greenparent County. And we knew a little bit about the people and the work that they had done with kids, but the overall thing about communities and school, we didn't know much about it. So, I donated my salary. I said, well, we'll just stipulate that my salary has got to go to communities and schools. And so that's where we took off from. Just a handful of kids. And the only thing I can say, and I'm not going to steal any of the thunder and everything, but in just looking at these notes, just imagine impacting over 70,000 West Virginia students now. 70,000 West Virginia students now. So I'm going to pass the ball to Kathy, and congratulations on all you're doing, and I'm going to thank Bobby again for being in West Virginia, your support, and all the great stuff that you're doing. What really, really the whole thing about neighbors loving neighbors is all about. So, Kathy, take over.
All righty. Thank you, Governor Jim. Thanks for letting me be here today and participating in this. In 2018, we started out with 3 counties. That was McDowell, Wyoming, and Berkeley. Since that date, we've grown, and we are adding 8 new counties today. We were at 31, so we're adding 8 today. That's 39 counties out of 55. I think we're going great guns, and we want to keep doing that. The counties are Grant, Gilmer, Hampshire, Morgan, Preston, Ritchie, Summers, and Tyler. So those counties are already off and running since school has started, and we want to go around and visit all the new counties. That's what we're doing and getting to know the people. And I want to thank the people at the State Board of Education. They are so great and so good planning the structure of the program and what counties are needed to go to next, and kind of give us an overall big plan, see which we're using. The people that are boots on the ground, the people that are at the schools every day, the site coordinators, the teachers, the principals, the superintendents, and just the parents are so great in helping with this program. The State Board of Education, as well as the legislature, know the dire need for communities in schools, and our CIS program is just evolving like you can't imagine. The support is so great behind it. We have people from counties now. If the CIS isn't in your county, we have people calling and saying, how can we get you all to come to our county? We want to be there just as soon as we can because it's a great, great program. But we can't stop here, and we have more work to do with so many more people. We need many of the students to help. As the governor said, we're servicing over 70,000 children in West Virginia. That's a lot of kids, a lot of schools. We have examples that we hope other community leaders will follow, that they'll come and be a part of this, like we see Mr. Blakely here today. He's come, and we hope people will follow in his footsteps and come here and be a part of it, because it's a wonderful cause. You can just see the wonderful turnouts for the children, and it's just a very, very good thing to be involved. So at this time, we want to Mr. Blakely, are you coming up? How are we doing this, Vicki?
I'll just say a few, if I may just say a few words. When I met Vicki Shannon and First Lady Justice, and they explained communities and schools, I was really captivated by the need, but also the response to the need. And our purpose at Truist is to inspire and build better lives and communities. And you can't do that alone. Government can't do it all. Businesses have to become involved, and individuals in our state. And we made our first donation last year, and we're following up with another donation this year to continue to support the expansion and the good work that's happening. Because if we're going to change lives and communities, it starts with our kids. And our teachers work so hard, they need extra resources like communities and schools. So it's my pleasure to present you a check for $15,000 from the Truist West Virginia Foundation, and we want to continue to support you many years to come and the great work that you're doing, and so proud of what you do to improve our state.
Thank you. This is wonderful. We will accept this, and I promise you it will be used in a great way. And when you're leaving, don't forget us. Come back and visit, okay?
Sure will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Kelly, I'll pass to you.
Okay, this is great. We like checks like this, big checks.
That's right. Bobby, let me say this. You know, people step up, and people do great stuff. And really and truly, you said, I think the Truist Foundation, is that correct, sir? You know, and we should all note that and be appreciative of that and everything, because you're changing lives. You're really, really stepping up, and you've already been a partner, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. And you know me, I don't blow smoke at anybody. I mean what I say, and it's very, 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 very appreciated. That's all there is to it. You know, I've got to say one other thing real quick, and that is just this, and I mean this. You know, Kathy surely knows that if we don't agree with one another about something, we tell each other we don't agree. But in this effort towards communities and schools, now, I've been in schools a lot. You know, I'm a basketball coach. I'm in schools all the time. I'm a real believer from the very first state of the state, the very first. I said, we have got to make education our centerpiece in West Virginia. Now, if you make education your centerpiece, what are we going to do? We're going to change the image of West Virginia to the outside world. And we got off about doing that. Now, I am telling you, and this is coming from your governor. This is not coming from the husband of the First Lady. This is coming from your governor, period. I have seen all kinds of efforts to reach out to kids. All kinds. There is nothing that approaches the effectiveness of this right here. This Communities in Schools program is the real deal, and it has real results. And so for Bobby, for Kathy, for Vicki, and all the people that have really made it happen, you have really, really made a difference. And I again, don't tell anything but the truth. But communities and schools in our school system right now is so needed, it is unbelievable. And the results are off the chart. So I thank both of you from the bottom of my heart. It's great work. Great work.
Thank you.
No, great work.
Thanks for supporting us. This is great.
Well, it's all good. Okay, I'm going to switch channels. I'm going to switch channels to my little friend Baby Dog here just one second. Yesterday we were out and we were doing round 2 of the Baby Dog stuff. We gave away an incredible sports car to Beth Eves from Branchland in Lincoln County. And, we handed her the keys to a brand new BMW, and it's M240i Coupe, and a 2021 beautiful brand spanking new car. We gave Matthew Hill, a pontoon boat. Matthew works as a parole officer in our corrections with our corrections folks, and what a job he does and everything. And then we went from there. We did all that at the stadium parking lot at Marshall University. We caught up with both of them there, and then we went from there to George Washington High School, and we were able to give a 4-year scholarship to a beautiful young lady. Her name is Kiera Smith. You can see I'm laboring a little bit there, holding on to that little brown watermelon that weighs 60 pounds, and it's like I'm a great big giant sack of feed, and we're on both of us are on the same dietary plan. But Kiera, just a beautiful young lady and everything, and her parents were there and so happy, and it just great stuff. And then we left there and we went to Princeton. The day started, I spoke at the business summit at the Greenbrier Hotel. Then we drove to Huntington, then back to GW and on to Princeton. And when we got to Princeton, something that just happened that was really neat. And y'all hang on, my phone's going off here now. Let me give this to you, Burke. But nevertheless, we drove back to Princeton and didn't really expect anything like what happened at Princeton. In Mercer County, they have they're wearing masks at their schools. From the standpoint in Mercer County, you have a brand new superintendent doing a phenomenal job. You have an assistant superintendent and a school principal there, and you have a young man that just won a 4-year scholarship, full ride to any of our institutions, that the institution he picks within our state. Now, he's got a long ways to go before he gets there, but he'll get there. And with all of that, that school, that superintendent, that principal, that assistant superintendent, and all the folks around that community, they came out. They even brought their cheering squad out, at the middle school. And literally, they did it because they knew how important this was to that family. They knew that that family not only deserved this, but needed this, and that would be the springboard that could really, really, really help this young man in the future. It was an outpouring of love beyond belief. The first words out of my mouth were just this, and it was just plain this simple. This is America at its best. Absolutely America at its best. West Virginia at its best. Those people out there supporting this family, absolutely, when past hours of the school or whatever it may be, probably 100 kids out there celebrating beyond belief. There was probably 40 or 50 adults or parents or whatever that were there, maybe teachers at the school, whatever it may be, and a cheering squad. They had a big cake and everything, and had on the cake, they had blue and white, which is Princeton's colors, and I don't know if those are the colors at the middle school, but that's Princeton's colors, and had a big cake with congratulations on it, brought us up there, and then this family came walking in. I'm telling you, without any question, it just shows the greatness of this nation, the greatness of West Virginia. And with all that, one of the people there even said, well, what kind of cake does Baby Dog like? Does she want vanilla or does she want chocolate? And I said, well, she can't, you can't give chocolate to dogs, so she'll just have vanilla. And before I could turn around 2 times and everything, they handed me a little piece of cake on a little paper plate and everything, and it was the vanilla cake. And I said, Baby Dog, would you like to sample this? And before I know it, the lady had it, and she just had wolfed it down and had all this blue icing all over her mouth and face and her tongue. She had a blue tongue, and she's just licking everybody, and it was another good moment, another really good moment. Yep, there she is. That's when I was giving her just a little bit. It turned into where she just wolfed that down. And but nevertheless, it was just great stuff. And so again, the bottom line is one thing and one thing alone, and that's get our people vaccinated. And I can't tell you enough how serious it is and how important it is. But really and truly, if we can just rally our young people to help us get across the finish line, we'll get there. And so it's great stuff. And we've got a young man that's joining us today, and I know I'm going to mispronounce this, but I'm going to give it my best. Rocco D, and I hope it's Jan Domenico. And wait a minute, he may not be joining us. I thought he was joining us and everything, but he may not be joining us, but he is a Wheeling Park high school student that won the scholarship as well. And we weren't able to be with him, but I understand, in Wheeling, WTRF was there and interviewed him, and we're going to play that video right now.
Those numbers were the motivation behind the Do It for Baby Dog Round 2, West Virginia's newest vaccine incentive program. We're still in the first week, and already a Wheeling Park student has found out he won't have to worry about any college loan payments. 7 News reporter Colin Roos is live to tell us about the weight that's been lifted from both his wallet and his future. Colin.
Rebecca, Rocco Dijon Domenico may only be a freshman, but he already has the ability to attend every college in the state. That's because he's been awarded a full ride scholarship, courtesy of Baby Dog. I caught up with him to see how he feels about having won the lottery.
The best news comes when you least expect it, especially when it's about college.
My parents were texting me at the start of 5th period, so that's how I found out about it.
Rocco and his family were at a loss for words when discussing his full ride to the college of his choice in West Virginia. He's one of the 5 weekly winners of the Do It for Baby Dog Round 2 sweepstakes, which just started this week to boost the state's vaccination rate. Some of the other prizes include a sports car, ATVs, and free gas for a decade. But none of them have the life-changing impact of tuition being swept off the table.
But this was a huge relief this morning.
His mom, Kristen, says she's in just as much disbelief as Rocco. She tells us the family had been saving for his and his sister's higher education and were looking at the Promise Scholarship as an option. But with the luck of the draw, it's no longer a concern.
To say we were elated and over the moon is an understatement.
It came as much of a surprise to her as it did to her son. She only signed up recently after the family had all finished being vaccinated, and she didn't get a call from the state. She only heard about it secondhand through a friend.
Last year we bought a new house and our realtor called me and I wasn't able to take her phone call, and she texted me a few minutes later and said, "Congratulations on Rocco winning the scholarship." And at this point I still don't know what she's talking about.
Rocco says he's interested in learning the electrician trade. His mom says he wasn't necessarily thinking about a 4-year institution, but now he's got more than a few options to consider, all thanks to a couple of shots.
I don't know when I signed up, but I did not think it was a possibility.
Now, Baby Dog is being more selective with her appearances nowadays, so it's unclear if she and Governor Justice will deliver Rocco's award to him, but with 5 more weeks, odds are good the Panhandle will get some more winners and at least one more surprise visit from the duo. Live in the 7 newsroom, I'm Colin Roos, working for you.
Well, I love it. I love it. Way to go, Rocco, and thank you so much for the wonderful coverage. And from it's WTRF, and thank you so much, for like I said, covering this and covering it in a great way. And again, what a wonderful family, and Baby Dog will be back. That's for sure. She loves being out with the people, and I'll sure bring her back. But again, congratulations to everybody, but let's don't forget the bottom line. The bottom line is we just got to keep on getting everybody vaccinated. We can shut this thing down if we'll just do that. Some way, somehow, we've got to keep dialed into just that. We gave out 4,000 doses since our last meeting. I wish to goodness that I could say that we'd given out 20,000. But 4,000 is significant because within that 4,000, there's no question that there's lives being saved. As long as we're going north, we're going to stay right with you. And we're going to continue to try to do any and everything we can to get more and more vaccinated. We're going to continue on our messaging, our marketing, and whatever it may be. 4,000 people is significant, but we want more. It's not enough. We just need more. We're now up in West Virginia to 1,126,000 people that have been vaccinated. We have a total vaccination of 65 and older people of 91.6% that have had one shot, and 85.3% of our 50 and olders have had one shot. We're at 72.3% of our total population that are eligible from 12 and above, that have had at least one shot. We got to stay at it. We just have to stay at it. Pfizer is FDA fully approved now. The booster shots, we're still waiting. We'll be ready to go the very second the national folks at the CDC or wherever it may be from the Biden administration would give us the go-ahead. We'll be off and running with our booster shots immediately. I'm continuing to call nonstop to all the people that I can call in the U.S. government and asking them to please approve our booster program. West Virginia, as we've said many times, has led the nation in a lot of different things. We got out fast with getting shots in arms. We didn't absolutely just sit on our hands and try to figure out a system. We got shots in arms. We saved a lot of lives by doing exactly that. But absolutely with this now, we have got to get our booster program up and going, and we got to get it now. The Biden administration is promising September the 20th, but we wanted to go before September the 20th. We just can't get to go ahead to let us cut loose. But the second we do, we'll go. Our Grand Families announcement that was just done, and I give General Hoyer a whole lot of credit on this one and everything. Terrific idea. $150 school voucher to all of our grand families by getting our kids vaccinated. Like I said before, Bonnie brought out that we have 19,000 kids with grandparents today, and absolutely, ensuring their safety as well as the kids is of paramount importance. And what would we do? What would we do if we lose those grandparents and those grandfamilies, and we absolutely have 19,000 additional kids and maybe nowhere to go? So we've got to absolutely continue to work in every way. This is just an incentive for those grandfamilies to get their family, all those kids in their household, vaccinated along with themselves. As far as the face coverings, I think we still are on hold as far as making any mandates, but at the same time, I would tell you, if you're in a crowd of people, and you're 65 and older especially, keep your distance. You probably ought to be wearing a mask, and absolutely protect yourself in every way you possibly can. We have 30 of our 55 counties that are wearing masks at schools now. You may say, well, why not just do it from the standpoint of letting me just take care of it and do it all across all of our counties? Because one size does not fit all in this. And that's why we're depending upon that local control to help us with what they think is the very best for their schools and their communities. From the vaccine eligibility, it's 12 and older. From the national immunity and everything, or the natural immunity, from that standpoint, from the medical information we have, you may hear, well, I've had it, and if I've had it, I am completely immune. Well, don't bet on that. There's nobody completely immune. Without any question, today, on the medical advice that we have, the medical knowledge that we have tells us the vaccinations are way, way, way better than just depending upon the natural immunity. We need help with the young people. The vaccine info line is all up there. As far as getting tested, Kathy and I just got tested again just a few minutes ago because we have legitimate reasons to be concerned. And so in that, we're both tested just a few minutes ago. We both came back negative, but we'll sleep a little bit better over the weekend and everything by knowing it's available to you. Utilize it, please. We thank Fruits, we thank Walgreens over and over. We have 52 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities, 4 in our church communities in 4 counties. That's Barber, Doddridge, Monroe, and Wayne counties. We're up to 137 inmates and 58 staff people that have this now. I encourage you over and over about giving blood. I've got an announcement about a great friend, a great man that has served in so many capacities all across this state. He was the county commissioner in Raleigh County. He has been our Secretary of Transportation. Absolutely, he has done a wonderful job. He is retiring now, and he has plans for his retirement and everything. And we wish him and Sue, his beautiful wife, the very best in every way. They've been lifelong friends. Bert has worked in our companies in the years a long time ago, and he's just done a marvelous job. That's all there is to it. And so, when he stepped into the highways role in March, he has helped oversee billions. That's not millions. That's billions with a B of dollars of road work all across West Virginia. His last days will be next week. But again, we congratulate him and wish him the very best. Hope he doesn't go off and just hide and leave us, but completely. But what a job that he's done, along with Jimmy Riston and all that crowd, with the DOH and transportation folks, and they've just done a marvelous job. That's all there is to it across this state. You see your highways getting improved, and the ditches and the roads and the pavement and everything. Every single thing that's happening all across this state is amazing, and so So with all that, again, we thank Byrd, and again, in every way, we just love them. Kathy and I have been, it seems like lifelong, but decades and decades of friends with, Byrd and Sue, and what great people they are and their whole family. And we saw their whole family grow up, and Byrd and Sue didn't get any older, but it's an amazing feat, and nevertheless, we love them and we thank them and we congratulate them on an incredible job. Football season is now officially, college football is officially kicked off. And last night, I guess was yesterday or last night was the first day of the new season. We saw crowds. I watched the Minnesota-Ohio State game last night, and it was exciting to watch, and it was exciting to see the crowds, in the stadiums and everything, and everyone enjoying some level of normalcy. And with all of that, in a very exciting college game, something that is important to all of us in the fabric of this nation. And so we wish all of our schools across our state the very best, wishes in the up and coming season. And we pray, for the safety of all of our people that will be enjoying those games. And we hope and pray we'll be able to enjoy the games throughout the season and be there in attendance. I think Marshall is going to be at Navy tomorrow, WVU at Maryland. Bluefield State is opening up their first game forever and a day, and they're going to be at, that game's going to be against Lawrence Tech, and they're going to play tomorrow at noon. I am still trying to find a way to be able to get to that game. I told the folks that I was going to come. I'm going to try again. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I'm going to try again to find a way to make it. And the Bluefield State is at Shippensburg tomorrow, and Alderson Broadus is at Mercyhurst tomorrow as well. And that's all the games that I have on my sheet. But nevertheless, good luck to our teams, and let's just pray in every way for safety and goodness, that we get through this terrible pandemic, and some way, somehow, we'll get ourselves vaccinated where we'll be protected and we'll be able to move forward. And the last thing I've got, and surely not last, is just this. Labor Day is a salute to just that, labor. The very people that are the backbone of this country, the very, very people that make the engine turn in every way. Our labor. God set us on the path to do labor in this world, and absolutely expected us to do labor in this world. And so many make that happen each and every day. So Kathy and I, again, salute. We pray for your safety, that every single day you get back home to your families and everything. But absolutely, it's a holiday that is so deserving to be absolutely attended to, respected in every way. And be thankful. Be thankful for what these great men and women do each and every day to make this engine turn. So that's all I've got. I know it was a little long today and everything, but again, thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good afternoon. I would just like to reinforce some information, particularly around our hospitals right now, to reinforce the governor's request that all of us go get vaccinated as quickly as possible. If you look at the numbers that the governor laid out today, we're at approximately 86% of the peak of where we were in the last surge at 177 days. We have almost 30% of that is ICU patients. And as the governor pointed out, we have now surpassed the number of patients on ventilators that we had at the peak of the last surge. The bottom line, West Virginia, is people are going to the hospital faster, they're sicker, and they're younger. And the best way for us to address this is to get vaccinated. We continue at the governor's direction to work closely with our hospitals, particularly through the Hospital Association, to monitor concerns related to capacity, staffing, and equipment. We are hitting a peak in the hospitals in West Virginia that are going to be a significant challenge to us. We would ask all West Virginians again to get vaccinated to help us take the stress off of our doctors, our nurses, and our medical staff and the support staff. 82% of all the people in West Virginia hospitals now with COVID are unvaccinated West Virginians. We've got to address that. We would also ask you on behalf of the hospitals, if you have a true and legitimate emergency, please go to your emergency room. But if you have another issue that can be addressed at an urgent care, a qualified health clinic, and particularly related to testing for symptoms, please use those outlets to help us address the challenges that we now have in our hospital emergency rooms. We do have hospitals today that are having to manage surgeries and other care in order to address the issues of COVID. So again, West Virginia, we ask you to please pay attention. Please go out and get vaccinated. We are putting significant stress on our hospitals and our healthcare system, and we need to address this now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next to Dr. Ayn Amjad, our state health officer.
Good afternoon. West Virginia is experiencing high rates of community COVID transmission, and as a result, it is putting strained resources on the health departments for contact tracing and case investigations. So because of this, we are going to start having our health departments only contact you if you have positive, if you're COVID positive. And as a result, we're going to have you contact your family members in your immediate household only. We're also going to be posting something on our website to help assist you with this. So if you're COVID positive, we do want your family members to isolate themselves. And also, if you are positive, to notify your coworkers, anyone that you come in close contact with in the next last 2 days. What Jordan just put up on the website should also help you. It's going to tell you to self-isolate, what symptoms to look out for, and what to do in this case. This should assist us with our contact tracing, especially now that we're seeing such high cases in the last few days. It's also going to assist you about what General Hoyer just mentioned about whether or not when to go to the hospital or when to see your family doctor. So if you're COVID positive and you're having, high fever or severe shortness of breath or chest pain, that is when you need to seek, higher medical attention. So this is also going to help us with our contact tracing and our case investigation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Amjad. Secretary Bill Crouch of the DHHR is also joining us today and is available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Evan Bevins with Ogden Newspapers.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to follow up on what Dr. Amjad had just mentioned. If you could elaborate a little more on the changes to contact tracing.
Dr. Amjad.
Sure. Because we're seeing so many cases, we're basically just asking our health departments to focus on the ones who are positive and to focus more on the ones who are in your immediate household. So if you're basically a positive case, we're going to ask, you to focus on the ones who live in your household contacts only. Before we were trying to trace back, maybe someone you've been in the last 2 days, even if it's someone outside of your immediate contacts. But what we're trying to do is focus in your household and then people who are maybe, elderly or sick in that realm. But we're not having enough staff and people to contact everyone who might be outside of your workforce and things like that. So if you're positive, we want you to focus on your household, and then we're asking those people to think back the last 2 days maybe, and if they've been around people at work or some close contact, to contact those people for us as well and to help assist with that. I'm not sure if that explains that or if you need me to go into a little bit more detail.
Yes, ma'am, that does. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you, Evan. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with W News. My question is for General Hoyer. So the University of Washington has updated their modeling. It shows that West Virginia is going to hit its peak hospital resource usage on September 26th. At that point, we're going to need 1,536 beds total, including 510 ICU beds. That's their estimates. Does that track with what you're hearing from the Hospital Association, and will we be able to handle it when we get to that point? Thank you.
General, please.
Yes, sir. So, Charles, it would be tracking to generally the numbers that we see now in West Virginia, working with the Hospital Association daily. And that is why the governor has us continuing to work directly with the hospitals through the Hospital Association to make sure that we can manage that. And obviously, as we trend higher towards those numbers, hospitals will have to make decisions about other types of care, as Dr. Amjad pointed out, and we will do our best as West Virginia to manage that. But again, I would reinforce the governor's point. The more West Virginians we get vaccinated, the better chance we have of turning that trend around.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor and First Lady and cabinet members. First of all, a couple of comments. Governor, thanks for the shout out to WTRF, one of our Nexstar Media television stations, for its coverage yesterday of Baby Dog. It was great. We appreciate the kudos. Also to the Canuck Charleston Health Department under the direction of Dr. Sherry Young and West Virginia Health Right under the direction of Dr. Angie Settle. I attended clinics both this week and they were very busy doing tests and giving shots. So those doctors and their staffs, so their troops are doing a great job. And finally, just congratulations to First Lady Kathy Justice on Community Schools. We've done a lot of coverage on that program. And I know you guys are a little modest to talk about the success rates, but probably the biggest success rate is the increase rate of high school graduations versus dropouts. And that's been significant in many of these counties where they have it. So a lot more kids are graduating from high school, and you know how important that is. So congratulations to the First Lady and the folks who were there today making donations. My question is this, Governor, aren't we going to get to the point? I know you don't want to mandate masks, but are we getting near the point where we may need to mandate masks? And as an example, I got a call from a parent at Hurricane Middle School yesterday. 3 new students tested positive for COVID at the middle school. And it occurs to me all high schoolers are eligible for vaccinations. All kids in elementary school are not. But middle school, you have a mix of kids. You usually have 11, 12, and 13 years old. The 12 and 13-year-olds get shots or can get shots. The 11-year-olds cannot. Do we have a potentially disastrous mix there? And might it be wise to mandate masks for middle schoolers at least to get this started?
Mark, we wrestle with this every single day. And really and truly, we have seen the local folks in 30 of our 55 counties, almost 60% of our counties, that they've moved that way. We continue to allow that flexibility and offer up that flexibility because we really believe that additional local wisdom is maybe better than what we can do in Charleston just with mandates. We know also that this is out there, that this component is out there, and it may very well be just a crutch that someone wants to hide behind, but we know that from the standpoint, and I don't mean a crutch from our side, hiding behind anything, because I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to do what in my heart I believe is the safest thing we can do. I am absolutely going to do the very thing that I think is in the best interest of all of our people always. I'm going to listen to the experts and their advice on what to do. But what I'm referring to is just this, is how do you skate this razor blade? How do you do that and keep people together? Because, the very second that we say, well, we're going to put mask and mandate mask on everybody, that is going to open the floodgate, for those people that do not believe that we should be wearing masks to come out and say, see it's not doing any good, it's not doing this, it's not doing that, and everything else. And before you know it, you have a real fragmentation that happens and everything, and I don't want that to happen in West Virginia. Now, with all that, Mark, we have given entire leeway on a local basis that all people have got to do is say, we believe in our county that this is what we want to do at our schools. You make a very good point, that the middle schools, part of them are over 12, part of them can be vaccinated, part of them can't. It's something else that we need to revisit one more time to looking at just specifically because of that. Because you got a bunch of kids there that don't have a choice. Don't have a choice today because we can't give them the shot. But you've got some kids there that are over 12 that can get the shot. It's really, it's something that I don't ever run from, but it is tough stuff. There's no point in running from the hard stuff. In all honesty, that's why we're here, is it not? At the end of the day, in my opinion, I've said it over and over and over, and I believe it to my soul. The good Lord made me Jim Justice for a reason. Mark, he made you who you are for a reason. And with that being said, he places us into positions to where we are expected to make decisions and move forward and everything. And the decision that I think that is in the best interest of all of us today is still leave as much of it to local control as we possibly can at this point in time. But Mark, we're watching it. We're watching it nonstop.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to Paul Mullen with WCBC.
Good afternoon, Governor. Good afternoon, panel. First, Governor, instead of giving us the schedule next week, I hope you would make picks next Friday on who's going to win those games. And I'd like to go after General Hoyer here. That go after is probably more of a that's a little too rough. Last month at about this time, you said there were a number of doses of vaccine that could go out of code by the end of August. And I want to know if any of that happened and how many there were. And if he is seeing anything at the vaccine clinics where people are going and asking for Pfizer vaccine because it has been given the full approval over the other two. Thank you.
General, it's up to you, sir. Go.
Yes, sir, Governor. So, Paul, we have been able to manage the doses, and in addition to that, Pfizer and the federal government agreed to an extension of time of expiration dates of doses. So, West Virginia is managing their doses well. We have not had any significant issues related to expirations. As it relates to your other question, we are seeing people ask more questions about Pfizer and availability of Pfizer, but most people have been following the guidance that we put out related to following your specific vaccine and have not seen any significant issues with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, gosh, you came back to me quick. Okay, I didn't know how many questions we had. Okay. Well, before I go any further, Dr. Marsh isn't with us today, and the reason he's not with us today is his daughter is getting married, and we congratulate her, and we congratulate the Marsh family, and we miss Dr. Marsh absolutely not being here, but at the same time, what a wonderful, wonderful time, a wonderful, wonderful day in their life and everything, and we're very, very, very happy about that. And again, congratulations in every way. I want to just flip back just 1 second to just this is, Charles and General Hoyer today talked about the possibility of, Charles brought up, the possibility that where I guess one of the groups was saying that on September the 25th, we would be at a certain level of hospitalizations, maybe 1,500, and our ICU numbers were 500 and some or whatever. I think that was correct in what they said. And the general said, you know, we're watching that and we're tracking and everything and we're following along, and we may very well be paralleling that exact tracking. Now, I just want to end by just saying just this. It was also said by the general, if we get to that point in time, our hospitals are probably very well going to have to drop elective surgeries, and so therefore people that have injuries and scheduled surgeries, you know, that are elective, basically, we may just have to drop that and suspend that for a period of time, because we can't, our hospitals are being flooded with COVID patients. You know, one note that they just sent up to me is 61% of the increase in our hospitalizations in the last 14 days have been COVID related. Now, let's just be fair and let's just be honest. You know, General Hoyer on Wednesday reported about a veteran that was being transported from one hospital to another hospital with basically with COVID, with a treatable disease. And because one hospital was overrun and he couldn't get a bed there, he was being transported to another hospital. He died. He died with a treatable disease. From the standpoint of, the general also said at that time that sure, we have rights that we protect in this country beyond belief. We do. But did not that veteran, do not those that are having the struggle that need hospitalizations, do not they deserve to have rights also? Did not he, that one veteran, fight to protect our freedoms, to protect the very things that we may stand behind and say, I don't have to be vaccinated. I don't have to be vaccinated at all. That's my right. Well, it's also your right in many, many ways to look out for your neighbor, to love your neighbor, to absolutely look out and to try to help one another. Now, if the tracking system that Charles brought up today is correct, and I absolutely put incredible faith in General Hoyer, and General Hoyer said that he thought we may very well be tracking similar to that in our numbers. What's going to happen if we get out to September 25th and our hospitals really, really start to get overloaded? The least that's going to happen is an economic impact beyond belief, and a lot of folks that are suffering through some type of injury or elective surgery that needs to be done maybe can't get it done. Maybe, just maybe, you needed some level of cancer treatment and it had to be postponed, and then lo and behold, the cancer got way worse. Absolutely, can you not see? Can you not just see that we need everybody? We need everybody, even though you may believe beyond belief that, by God, I don't have to take this shot. These are my rights and everything else. I absolutely would just plead with you to just maybe lay that aside for all of us. Just maybe lay that aside on something that is proven as safe as it can be for all of us. Not for you, for all of us. We'll be respectful to our grave of your opinion, of your rights, and we believe in that. But absolutely, if you could just lay that aside for now, for all of us. We need you. We really, really, really need you. But with all that being said, you know, this is serious stuff. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep trying. every way in the world to get as many across the finish line as we can get across. I hope and pray that I'm not in front of you on Monday reading lots and lots and lots of names. But I know it will be. I know it will be. And it won't stop until we get ourselves vaccinated. I wish to goodness that I could tell you something that would be a silver bullet that could stop this in some other way. I mean, I wouldn't care what it would be. I wish I could give you any advice on anything that would shut this thing down in another way. I can't do it. I can't do it because all the advice coming to me says we only have one alternative, and that's it, and that's vaccination. So nevertheless, it's your choice, but you can really help all of us. Thank you so much.